Welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for February the 19th of 2020. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry, hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week. This is your one-stop shop for all of the hottest gaming news that you need to know on a daily basis. Did I mention this is gaming news, that it's uploaded daily, and that you can find it on YouTube and podcast services? I feel like I've really driven those points home today. If I didn't, you can go back and rewind and re-listen to all of that. But regardless of my self-promotion for the intro, PlayStation has pulled out of PAX East, which is pretty massive considering just how little they've said about the PlayStation 5. We'll talk more about that in just a couple of moments. On top of that, I'm going to rant about Ninja's latest controversial comment. Then GameStop employees are reporting a pretty big bit of controversy going on right now, as reported on In Depth by Polygon. We'll talk more about that, Platinum Games, Grand Theft Auto 4 coming back to Steam, and of course, a couple of Nerf blasters you might be interested in, as well as a shout out to some incredible people doing some pretty incredible stuff that I did want to mention on today's show, and that is OK Beast. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's top gaming news. First off, PlayStation pulls out of PAX East because of coronavirus concerns. Boston's preeminent video game convention will be one major exhibitor lighter than usual. Sony just announced that it's pulling out of PAX East due to safety and health concerns raised by the coronavirus outbreak. In an update to its previous PAX East plans, Sony said, quote, "Today, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made the decision to cancel its participation at PAX East in Boston this year due to increasing concerns related to COVID-19, also known as novel coronavirus. We felt this was the safest option as the situation is changing daily. We are disappointed to cancel our participation in this event, but the health and safety of our global workforce is our highest concern." The PAX East PlayStation booth was said to have hands-on opportunities with a lot of highly anticipated first and third-party games on the PlayStation 4, including but not limited to The Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Neo 2, MLB The Show 20, Persona 5 Royale, Predator Hunting Grounds, and Spelunky 2. This is hardly the first impact the coronavirus has had on the games industry. Switch manufacturing is slowing down, developer Virtuos has not been able to finish the Switch port of The Outer Worlds, and the Taipei Game Show was postponed to later this summer. However, those developments are all centered in and around China, where the coronavirus originated. Sony does not want to jeopardize the health of its employees now that the virus has made its way abroad. PAX does not give official attendance numbers anymore, but PAX East hosted upwards of 100,000 people over its 4-day stretch. As anyone who has visited one of these conventions knows firsthand, they are a breeding ground for illness. Now that there is a more serious ailment potentially in the mix, Sony is prioritizing its employees and canceling PAX East plans altogether. So first and foremost, is this the right move to make? Quite frankly, the coronavirus is terrifying. It is growing at a rapid pace, although officials are saying that the spread of the virus is slowing down. It's still moving. It's still spreading, and there really isn't a cure that I'm familiar with. So probably not the best time to be going to a gaming convention where sneezing, coughing, and door handles are pretty much always existing around you. So not a bad idea to pull out of the giant meeting and, of course, the convention itself. Now, the big thing for me here is that this is probably a pretty good opportunity to unveil the PlayStation 5 if they were going to unveil it at a show, and considering that there's not going to be any kind of E3 present this year, and on top of that, the February show is slowly but surely getting out of our grasp because of the fact that February is pretty much almost gone. Well, this was pretty much going to be our next best bet for hearing something about the PlayStation 5, and right now it seems like that's not going to be happening. Now, if this does go down the way that I think it's going to be going down, you're probably going to be getting the state of play style setup where there's going to be some kind of pre-existing video that's put out just one day randomly, where you do get your first look at the PlayStation 5, potentially even price, and that could be anywhere from tomorrow all the way until E3. We really have no idea when that kind of news is coming. Of course, we've been talking for a couple of weeks now about pricing of the PlayStation 5, the fact that Sony seems to be waiting on Xbox to make a move, and of course they are facing issues with the cost of production because apparently the system itself is costing roughly $450 to produce if insider information is to be believed. So all of that being said, PAX East is a no-go for PlayStation because of the coronavirus, and right now, I'm interested to see, again, when the PS5 is in fact coming out, details surrounding it, and on top of that, will we get a handle on the newest plague? because every day I go to the gym and I see it on the news and I think, hey, we're still dealing with that, and I'm kind of freaking out. However, let's move on to something else that is a bit of a freak out, shall we? Ninja blast the video game haters. Imagine telling LeBron James to chill. What a strangely formatted headline from TMZ, just fonts all over the place. However, Ninja, the most famous pro gamer in the world, is sick and tired of people treating his sport like it's a joke, and he is invoking the names of LeBron and Tom Brady to make his point. The 28-year-old Fortnite legend went on a passionate rant while streaming on Wednesday, saying that he is fed up with people telling him to tone down his competitiveness with comments like, quote, "it's just a video game." And he says on Twitter, quote, "the phrase, quote, "it's just a game" is such a weak mindset. You are okay with what happened, losing, imperfection of a craft. When you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. There's always something to learn and always room for improvement. Never settle." Ninja hates the phrase, explaining how every top competitor in any field should hate to lose no matter what sport they are in. And of course, he goes on to talk more about that. But there is an entire clip that has been circulating that I shared on my Twitter, which is twitter.com/prettychillguy, and I commented on it, which we'll get into in just a moment. Earlier in the week, Ninja had tweeted about his mindset. Of course, we've talked about that, but people went hard after him on social media. But Ninja ain't backing down, which is why he went on a rant during the stream on Wednesday. And also, with Fortnite Season 2 about to drop this week, he is clearly getting his mind right to destroy everyone. But for the record, Ninja's intense mentality has earned him millions in prize money and sponsorships, so even if you disagree, the numbers don't lie. First and foremost, TMZ, roll him back down. He is good at Fortnite, but by no means is he the best at Fortnite. He is not the best. He will never be the best. There are many people out there that are better than him at the game. The fact is, he's become so popular that his followership, his subscriber count, his, giant online audience, that's what's getting the sponsorships, that's what's getting the attention. And the fact that he happened to be the poster boy of Fortnite, which immediately became the #1 game in the world a couple of years back, that all comes together to make him the giant, never-ending flood of popularity that he is today. Now, here's the deal. And I'm going to be saying this on a gaming podcast, and it's something that I have felt for a very, very, very long time. And here it is. Are you guys ready? Nothing related to video games legitimately matters. That's my point of view. Because even if I do have a podcast talking about gaming, even if I do have 2 consoles filled with video games, even if I do have an audience of people that likes to listen to me talk about video games, they simply don't matter. That's not to say they don't have value, because video games are an incredible form of an escape. They're an incredible way to relax after a long day. They are an incredible way to make friends and bond with existing friends and family. They are doing so many amazing things, and they have so much value. I love gaming, and I will always love gaming. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just a game. That really is what it comes down to. It is just a game. They are there to have fun. They are there to enjoy, and you can take it in a very serious way. You can be a competitive player, but still, once the controllers have been put down and the keyboards and mice have been disconnected, it's just a game. No matter how much money you won, no matter how popular you get, it is just a game. And to get this irate about what's happening and to get this fed up with people saying that it is just a game, it's a bit childish, quite frankly. Now, of course, I'm saying this as a pleb who makes no money or little to no money off of talking about video games, and he's Ninja, again, one of the most popular streamers in the world that has an incredible, huge following online, even after switching from Twitch to Mixer, which is still very incredible. Again, sponsorship deals, he's been on TV, on the Ellen Show. That's when you know you've made it, whenever you're tapping into that post-elementary school kid pickup mom audience. But I will say, I'm standing behind my statement here. A video game is nothing more than a game. You can enjoy it, you can have fun, it has so much value, and gaming does so much good in the world. But it's still just a game, and that really is how it's always going to be. However, we are not going to be reading through this entire piece of content from Polygon, but I would highly encourage you to check it out. GameStop employees report extreme pressure from desperate bosses. And I'm sorry, you're seeing the cutoff over there on the, there's the headline. You know what? We're going to do that. We're going to go into reader mode. Can I go into reader mode? Potentially. There we go. Beautiful. GameStop store managers and retail staff say the company is taking increasingly desperate measures to shore up sales as the video game retail chain struggles with a massive loss of revenue caused mainly by a broad consumer shift to digital purchases. In more than a dozen interviews with Polygon, current and former GameStop employees spoke of a tightening regime of strict sales tactics and intrusive customer scripts designed to extract as much value as possible from the company's dwindling base. All of the employees we spoke to said they were concerned about the future of the company. Most reported their customers' numbers had decreased noticeably in the last year. "I've seen a change in the sheer desperation the company has towards its profit margins," said one store manager with multiple years of experience at the company. "The company is frantic and distrustful," said one assistant manager. "You can feel it in every message they send. The structure is falling apart and they are scrambling." "I think they'll close 1,000 stores this year," said one former store manager with many years retail experience. "They have to cut costs. The games retail market is dying." Another manager said, "My store is well known for solid sales performance, but customer traffic has dipped significantly in the past 2 years. Aside from some expected high traffic days like Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and major game release days, we are missing our daily sales plans almost every single day." All interviews for this story were conducted via email or phone, and in order to protect employees from disciplinary action, the interviews were conducted under condition of anonymity. "We have contacted GameStop and requested an executive interview or statement, but have received no reply as of yet." And so the author goes on to talk more about declining sales, tech trades, everything from hard sells to loyal staff to traffic being down, pre-orders, and all of that good stuff. Really worth diving into it. But overwhelmingly, the main thing that I want to say here is this is the story. This is what we need to be hearing right now, because so many of the stories that I've covered on GameStop have been about the executives trying to make up for lost time, the executives trying to repurpose GameStop into being some kind of a cultural focal point for gaming and to become more of a hangout than a retail store. And although that is all well and good, this is the nitty-gritty. This is what we are seeing. Whenever you hear long-term store employees complaining about the fact that GameStop seems to be getting more desperate in its messaging, that's when you know something is about to go down. And I completely and totally trust the reporting from Polygon, and on top of that, I do trust the statements made by company employees, both current and former. I said that correctly. I don't know why I messed it up. But regardless, GameStop looks to be going down. And again, I would highly recommend checking out the official story over there at Polygon by Colin Campbell, which is at Colin Campbell X on Twitter if you did want to give him a follow. But man, I still stand behind my statement that I'm going to miss GameStop when it's gone, because it was such a big part of gaming growing up. It was such a fun place to be. I genuinely enjoyed going to GameStop because, of course, it was just fun to be able to look at all these video games, to read the back of the box, to put it back, to read another box, to be able to really get into the culture of it all. That's what I loved, and it's going to be sad whenever that finally does go away. But it looks like that is going to be very, very soon, according to some former and current GameStop employees. However, moving on, Platinum Games has a major announcement coming on February the 27th. It will feature in next week's Famitsu. Platinum Games, the studio behind such wild action titles as Bayonetta and Nier Automata, has revealed it will be making a major announcement next week. The mysterious news will drop in the February 27th issue of Japanese publication Famitsu. It is unknown whether this new news will specifically pertain to the fabled Platinum 4 upcoming mystery news drops that were revealed back in January, but at least we won't have to wait too long to find out. We already know that one of the Platinum 4 is a remaster of the Wonderful 101, but what could the other 3 quadrants represent? What say you? They ask at Destructoid.com. Also noted by Platinum in the announcement of the announcement was that the development of Bayonetta 3 continues, with director Hideki Kamiya saying the anticipated sequel is coming along, quote, very well. So I have no comment on this right now. Of course, the mystery news is going to be coming on February the 27th. I'm never going to live that down, am I? But we will stay tuned for this. I wanted to let you know to keep your ear to the ground. And by the ground, I mean on social media, to hear more about what Platinum Games has coming down the pipe. Moving on, Grand Theft Auto 4 is returning to Steam next month without its online multiplayer. And on top of that, a couple of other changes. Removed from sale on Steam in January due to the issue with Microsoft's now defunct Games for Windows Live service, GTA 4 returns to the service on March the 19th as Grand Theft Auto 4 Complete Edition. The new version of the game includes the core game and episodes from Liberty City, but no longer supports online multiplayer. The previous PC version of Grand Theft Auto 4 not only used games for Windows Live to power its multiplayer, Microsoft Service was also required to generate new game keys. The new version, launching next month across all PC storefronts, including Steam and Rockstar's own game launcher, strips the games for Windows Live reliance from Grand Theft Auto 4 at the cost of online multiplayer. Starting on March the 19th, players who own Grand Theft Auto 4 on PC will be able to update their game to Grand Theft Auto 4 Complete Collection. Previously a standalone, the episodes from Liberty City Story add-ons will now be included in the package, and you can find everything you need to know on the game's Steam page for more information. And of course, we will check that out, and right now, it appears to be not available quite soon, or not available quite yet, but again, coming out very, very soon on, of course, what would that be? March the 19th. So if you did want to dive in and play Grand Theft Auto 4 for some reason, then by all means, you can check it out whenever the game relaunches next month. But number one, glad to see it's a free upgrade. Number two, glad to see that it's not gone forever. And number three, cool to see that they are including all of the content, because again, the game came out around 2008. I want to say, let's see, Grand Theft Auto 4 release date. Yeah, April 29th, 2008. So that game is now 12 years old. It's time to kind of let that one go. Still popular, but again, glad to see it coming back to Steam and not completely lost to the realm of the unknown. It's a place. But to round out today's main news, Halo Nerf blasters are on the way, including the Needler, just in case you were curious. Hasbro's brand Nerf has spent the last few years bringing iconic weaponry from the world of video games into the real world. Fortnite got its own blasters and a few Super Soakers, and Overwatch got some really cool blasters as well. Now Nerf is moving forward with its next installment, Halo. Praise be on Master Chief and the Covenant, as Nerf has 3 different blasters coming out this fall based on the Halo franchise, and here are the first images as below. First is the Halo MA40 blaster, inspired by the weapon in the upcoming Halo Infinite. This is the premier blaster from the upcoming set, and it features a clip that holds 10 darts. The MA40 takes 4 C batteries in order... Jesus. 4 C batteries in order to fire the... That's like $26 in batteries. Additionally, the blaster comes with a code to unlock the MA40's color scheme in Halo Infinite, and the retail price for the blaster is $50. That does not include the $26 in C batteries. But there are also 2 blasters from the Microshot line arriving in October. First is the Spanker. What? Based on the UNSC's weapon of the same name. This is a one-shot blaster that comes with 2 darts, and it will retail for $10. And finally, there is the Covenant's Needler. Sure, the darts don't come home in on your enemy, or will they explode? But this mini blaster does have the look of the Halo weapon. It comes with 2 darts and will cost $10. Really? Only 2 darts in the Needler? That's a bit disappointing. I mean, it still looks cool, but hey, whatever. All of these Nerf Halo blasters will be available at any major retailers across the nation on October the 1st. As for the game that the blasters come from, Halo Infinite will not release until this holiday season. There is not a lot known about the latest installment in the Halo franchise, but many have speculated it will be an open world game. However, there is no confirmation of that at this time, and there are plenty of leaks and information to find out over there at GameStop. I love Halo, and I love Nerf, but these are kind of lame, especially these 2 that only fire 2 shots. What is that? Come on, man. If you're going to be making some kind of spanker weapon, then by all means, make it a real gun, you know? I'd much rather see the Magnum, personally. But this one's cool. 10 darts, $26 worth of batteries, by all means. That one might be the one that is going to be a big hit out of the line, which is pretty much what I think they're relatively expecting. Now, before we round out today's show, I did want to say OK Beast is a group of content creators doing some pretty amazing things. And of course, this is their Patreon page, but they have just released a phenomenal video, which is just mind-blowingly good, and I would highly recommend you go check it out. It's on youtube.com/okbeast. I would assume that is their official handle, something like that. But regardless, I will have it linked down below if you did want to give it a look. But the main content that they're going to be making going forward is video game documentaries, a series called Why We Play. They're making some very impressive stuff, and just to give you a snippet of what to expect, it's generally this kind of documentary-based storytelling that you are going to be getting that shows why we play games, the stories behind the experiences people have. It's getting deeper than just the gaming news that I cover on a day-to-day basis. They're talking about why it matters, the impact games have, and that's what I like to see. So the newest video is out now. It's about 6 minutes long. You can support them on Patreon, but of course, subscribing and staying up to date on everything OK Beast related is certainly going to be a good way to go about the entire situation here. So by all means, dive in, give their content a look. Whole new brand, whole new year, whole new OK Beast. Excited to see it. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. Of course, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show, and if you did, be sure to drop me a like down below. And in the comment section, let me know what you think about PlayStation dropping PAX East on top of that Ninja's comments and everything else we talked about today. I would love to hear your 2 cents. But until tomorrow, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.